Well, I see Andy Rabbit says hello, Dawn and Steve, but I don't see Dawn and Steve. And Juanita says hello. And Andy says hello, Juanita. Hello, Andy. I hope you're having a blessed morning. And those were some cute white babies. Hi, Buster. Well, I don't know how many people. It only shows one person in here, but 5 likes. Oh, now it shows 2. Oh, boy. There, now I don't have the halo so much. Good morning, Andy. Those are beautiful white guinea pigs. So you know when I bring you yours, you got to add a little black to all your whites. Oh boy. Stills and Squills, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Stills. Andy says they have a little cream on them. Yeah, they're kind of a white, off-white, which is a little cream. But with the one that you want, the black head and white body, she's going to add some black into your genetics. But she carries some, yeah, she may have some hidden red in there from her mom. And he says the big one is a new one. They have red eyes. Albinos. Nikki James says, good morning. Good morning, Nikki. And he says, that's cool. Yeah, so you won't know what hidden colors that are come out in. And Andy saying good morning to Nikki. And Nikki says, hi, Andy. Juanita says, good morning, Andy. Good morning, Juanita. At the half-hour mark, I have some things to talk about in case anybody's interested. My lighter is. Everybody got your coffee or beverage drink for this morning? Juanita says, good morning, Verna. Good morning, Juanita. Stills and Squills says, notice some mating action this morning on my 45-day-old jumbos. That was a cool surprise. Started the laying match this morning. 45 days, so that's 5. Yeah, you should be getting some eggs now, Steels. Anytime now. Buster says, did you cut your hair? Yes, Buster, I cut it all myself. Jesse says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jesse. Heading to mail a sold item out. Get gas and head to work. Well, stay safe. Still says, moonshine in the morning prevents anything that ails you. And Nikki's got her coffee. And he says, yay, eggs will be coming for you soon. Annie, who will get eggs coming soon? She says, hey, Jesse. My moonshine is coffee. I better get my research out if I didn't bury it. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, steals and squills. Yeah, she's gonna be having some eggs any day now. At 45 days old, that means they're see it's yeah, they're 6 weeks, so it'd be any time now. When he says hazelnut for her. Mine's French vanilla. Truck 3 Warden. Good morning, all. I cut my hair myself last week, too. Turned the extra light on the quail for more eggs and sold half the flock to a bird dog trader. He wants more ASAP. Well, you better get those incubators going, Truck 3, because that is great. Well, my cigarette didn't say that. That's awesome, Truck 3, what I wanna know, did you sell him mostly males, or did you sell him some of your hens? Hey, cuz, yawning? Don't get me started. You're waking up, and I'm thinking about taking a nap, but I don't have time today. Excuse me. Truck 3 says mostly the older ones, almost year-olds, and some with leg problems. Yeah, that's perfect for, bird dog training. And he says, I had something get a couple of quail the other day. I think 2 or 3. I found someone with more like the ones I lost and a few more. Well, Andy, you replace it with 6, right? Steele says, I got my auto washing system started. Waiting on the seal to dry on the bucket, then I'm ready to install. Can't wait. It will be a lot easier. Oh, your auto watering system. Okay, I was thinking wrong on that. And he says, yes, 6. Juanita says, I know I now have 2 Nature Right 360s, just hatching a dozen eggs. Juanita, do you like those 360s? Because I am thinking about getting one of those just for the heck of it. Truck 3 says, I have a burn C that will hold 110 eggs. Just have to add more heat to the new quail barn once they are out of the brooders. Why do you have to add heat to them once they're out of the brooders? Because quail can handle cool air. Juanita says, yes, now that I have figured out the secrets. Ah, there's secrets to it, huh? Jesse says, I had to deliver a 15 dozen eating egg order tomorrow, then start collecting for a 5 dozen hatching order. Congratulations, Jesse. Still says, I hatched 2 batches of quail in my 360. I bought the quail rail for it and it worked out great. I have 12 Rhode Island red eggs in it now to see if they do better than the little giant on chickens. The only thing I don't like about the 360, in my opinion, is you can't put very many eggs in it. Because I am been doing a lot of research lately. Truck 3 says it gets down to close to freezing in there. I have a milk house heater in there now, so the water lines don't heat. Oh, so they don't freeze, okay. Maybe the heat lights will keep chicks warm enough, hope so. Well, if they're 4 weeks old, they'll have all their feathers and you won't have to worry about it. And he says, I know someone I told a while back I would sell them 5 hens, run 1 roo. They are 100% newbies. She bought 16 unsexed 3 weeks old now. They are just getting 2 or 3 eggs a day, finding out they have a lot of roos. Well, that means she's got a lot to put in the freezer camp. Yeah, I knew I thought you meant freeze the water lines. And it says, "Yesterday, I told her I would trade 1 hen for 2 of her roos, but she don't wanna." Yep. Truck 3 says, "I'll put them out right from the incubator once dry." You put them right into the brooder once they're dry, right, Truck 3? Andy says she won't butcher anything. Well, she's gonna have a lot of fighting then. Mostly if she keeps them with the hens. Echo, what's my notification?
One new notification from Amazon Shopping. Plant food will arrive today.
Good. So now I'll be getting my, big hydroponics already. The, Andy says she won't butcher anything and she's done. Nikki says she's looking at some heartache, I fear. Yep. Truck 3 says yes, and the brooder is in the quail barn, but it's warming up here in Wisconsin. Tapping time here. Oh, boy. Are you just doing maple or are you tapping other trees as well? Truck 3. And he says, yeah, she is, Nikki. Juanita wants to know where in Wisconsin. Steele says, where you growing in that hydroponics burner? Snickers. What I'm going to be growing is I'm thinking about growing sweet potato in it. And I'm thinking about, the mung beans. I want some fresh mung beans. And no, Stills, it's not to go with your moonshine. Andy says she can't tell boy from girl either. Well, what'd you give her, Jumbo Wilds, or did you give her Jumbo Whites, Andy? Truck 3 says North Central by Medford. I don't tap anymore, too much work. Plus, people gift Michael with syrup frequently. That is great. Yeah, you like my little catching what you're snickering about, huh, Stills? Anybody have any questions for me today? Well, everybody's gone quiet so far. Eddie says, I tried to help her get started, right? I didn't trade her. She just wants $45 for them. I don't want her mixed up batch. Tell her if she wants $45 for those roos, she can sell them on Craigslist. Still says, can you make keychains from a quail foot? Yes, you can, Steels. You have to dry it up and then use the same mechanism that you use for feathers or any other part of the or eggs, the jewelry part. Now, if I was making them, I would freeze dry them and put a lacquer on them. And he says, I would have just butchered them all. Yeah, if I have extra meals, that's what I do. I either butcher them for me or I butcher them for Lucy. Still says, good idea. I never thought about lacquer. Yeah, you want that clean, shiny stuff so that moisture doesn't get back into it and make it stink. Andy says she thought she got a great deal on them. Well, Andy, you give options on what kind of deals people get, and it's up to them they want to go cheap, then they have to put up with the bad parts of it, one way or the other. Yeah, that's what's and then she wants you to give her back her money for the mails. That don't work that way. Nope, 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 nope. And he says they were 3 weeks old when she got them, so the breeder probably took her and kept most of the hens. Yep, if they were 3 weeks when she got them, that's what he did. Nikki says, "I opened my turkeys up this and placed my hand right on top of a dead mouse. I got stuck in the chicken wire that covers the top part of the door." Okay, so what? You opened up your turkey feed and put your hand right on top of a dead mouse? Oh. Well, Nikki, you could always throw the mouse out to your chickens. I'm sure they'll take care of that dead mouse. He says, "Yes, it gave me quite a jolt." Yeah, it would. That's why I shivered. Because I can imagine you go to touch something and you yeah, something furry that where you're supposed to either feel grain or what. Yeah, that would freak me out. I mean, when I have to pick up a dead animal, I grab it by the foot. I don't care what animal it is. If it's something I didn't kill, I only grab it by the foot because I don't wanna touch it. Grab it by the foot and give it to Lucy. She disposes of it rather quickly. Sil says, "You never know what they die from." I agree, there's foot only. Now see, if it's a fresh kill that you do yourself, that doesn't bother you. But when you don't know what something died from and rigor mortis set in, yeah, foot only. Oh, it's caught in the chicken wire, broken leg. Ah. So it didn't die from poisoning, so you can feed it to the chickens. Because that's the other thing you'd worry about mice is that they died from poisoning. Throw it over to the chickens, they'll eat it up. I've seen where chickens have killed mice and ate them. He says, "Try to pull it, but gonna have to take some snips out to get it out." Alrighty. And he says, "I talked to someone yesterday about getting a Havana from them. They said $200." I was like, "What?" Yeah, that's ridiculous. Steals and Squeals says, "Waiting on my 8-month-old turkey hen to start laying. Wife made pets out of them so they don't go to smoker now." Well, it sounds like you need to start laying those, once those legs start laying, I would put them in the incubator And tell your wife, food only. No more pets. And it says they are a show person. Well, that's ridiculous. I mean, it's not ridiculous that they're a show person. It's ridiculous that they want to sell them at $200 for you. They could have sold you the ones that are not quite up to standard. Truck 3 wants to know if anybody has the American breastseed chickens. I'm thinking about getting some for raising to sell. Truck 3, Living Traditions Homestead is doing that with breastseed chickens. The American breastseed, American breasts, whatever. Nikki says, LOL, I love my turkeys. And he says, I thought it was too. I was like, yeah, nope. Steve says, isn't that about double the normal price? Yeah, they figure since they're show animals, they need to sell them that high, Steve. Steele says, my boss is getting breasty eggs tomorrow. I think he's getting a few for me to try. Yeah, because breasts, they're good meat chickens and they're good laying chickens too. And he says, I just get 30 on them, Steve. Yeah, but see, we think of the food, Andy. We don't think of show. Truck 3 says, I saw them there and have been thinking about them since. Well, Truck 3, what you do is you type in the name in Google and you can find out more about them and see if they're a good fit for you. C says typical price is $20 for regular and $100 for show. And he says, yep, Verna. Truck 3 steals and squeals. Where is he getting them from? Seal says he's messaging him now. C says, I think he's already decided. Chuck C says, thank you, Steels. Yeah, my hair is short enough that I can still put it in long enough I can still put it in a little bitty ponytail. And he says, I wanted an extra dough because I'm getting a new buck in about 2 weeks, but not for that price. I don't believe it. I don't blame you. That's ridiculous. Thank you, Andy. I just got tired of it, looked in the mirror, and says, well, heck, if it ain't perfect, it's good enough. I cut off that much hair. Glenn says, running late. Stray chicken showed up at neighbor's house and they thought it was mine, but I got it back to its own coop. Good deed for the day. Welcome, Glenn. Good to see you this morning. C says, I think McMurray Hatchery has them. Not where Sarah or Kevin got them from, though. And he says, oh, dang, that's a lot of hair. Yeah, my hair was quite long. And the way I hacked it, I just and threw it in the trash. Yeah, I got 8 to 12 inches off. Still says truck 3, he is getting them from an individual. And Andy retracted her message for some reason. just as I was getting ready to read it. Well, 30 minutes, and I gotta go get another cup of coffee, guys. Be right back. He's getting from an individual. Andy says, I'm just about an hour from Kevin and Sarah. And I sent the other too fast. Wasn't done typing. Hit the wrong button. Sales get a kick out of 'em. That tells me it's a bogus one because most of my friends are under different sounds. Truck 3 says, "Oh, thanks. Okay, thanks. I had looked into the place where Sarah and Kevin got theirs, but they were very booked up last year. I checked out I'll check out Murray McMurray. Already put one order in, might as well do it again." Okay, you guys. I went and got coffee at the half hour mark. Now, we're going to go back to feed. You know, a lot of times it can be cheaper if you mix your own feed. So I've been doing some research, and these people are talking about for their chickens. But I think you could do it with Quail. The worst you'd have to do is crumble it a little bit. But they use a 30-gallon tote, and they put in 30 pounds of whole oats, 20 pounds of whole corn. I would probably use the cracked corn. They put in 20 pounds of black oils, sunflower seeds, 10 pounds of split peas, and 5 pounds of flax seeds. That gives them their protein, calcium, and fiber, and I haven't finished looking up to find out what all that has in it. But me, I would toast amaranth seed and probably put 20 pounds of amaranth seed in there to bring that protein up a little more. Trust okay. Steve says, Truck 3, search North Star Farms. Truck 3 says, thanks, Steve. Steve says, oh, you already had the name from before. I'm slow. That's because you're not awake yet, cuz. Andy says, I don't like chickens anymore. Andy, you're like I am. I don't even buy chickens to eat. Truck 3 says, just sleepy. Yeah, he's not awake yet. He's the king of procrastinators and he's not awake yet. Because he didn't give out coffee when I was getting coffee. That shows how sleepy he is. And he says, I have the one, she is messy, poops all over the place. Yeah, and with chickens, that's big poops. One chicken, that is. Steve said, I was getting water to make coffee when you want it for yours. Yeah, you guys gotta forgive Steve. He hasn't even had a cup of coffee yet. You should always make your coffee before you come in. And at least get it started, then you can come in and wait while it's perking or dripping or whatever. Well, I talked about making up your own feed. And Steve, I'm with you. It's do more is okay because it still isn't giving any problems. It's just the producer's pride and the no name brand that at Tractor Supply that causes problems. And we already know what to do if we end up with one of those. And that's give lentils and rice cooked together. Andy says she's been thinking about making feed too. Yeah, so you get whole oats. I would use cracked corn, black oil, sunflower seed, split peas, and flaxseed, but I would add amaranth to it too. She says that producer's pride was just the cheap, cheap stuff. Yeah, it's producer's pride and breeder's choice. Those are the two that you have to watch out for because that's the cheap garbage. You guys, pardon me for a second. I need to blow my nose. Oh, we're having the river is really in flood stage, and the nature trail is on the dike. That's you know what a dike is to protect from flood. Well, yesterday when it was raining, the only time Lucy went out is when she absolutely had to, because I was not going to go in through aerial flooding to take her potty. In other words, we were having California's aerial flooding where the water is coming down so fast that nothing could cope with it. But anyhow, so Bill came up to clean the cages last night, and he was talking about how bad the river's running. And he says, my dad said there's always 3 stages to a flood. And he goes, I think this one's in 3rd stage. I says, what is it all the way up to the trail? He says, yeah. Well, I went out this morning. It was not up to the trail, which would have meant up to the top of the dike. Heck, it didn't even get to the what I would call the first stage would be up to the tree line or, above the tree line. And the second stage would be when he got the grassland area. Excuse me. And then the third stage would be going up the dike. It didn't even get to what I would call first stage flood. So that's the difference on how people see things. And he says, my son is now hauling to the feed mills I buy my feed from. I will get some insight info. Haha. Yeah, just pass it on, Andy. Nikki says, I have so many with different needs. When I look at pricing to mix my own and the amount I need, it wouldn't save me any money. Sometimes you can get like 50-pound bags of different grains cheaper than you can get a 50-pound bag of feed. And she says, that's the thing too, Nikki. Space for 5 or 6 bags of feed would be an issue for me. Yeah, I can handle 3 bags of feed. Maybe 4 if I stack it right. No, wait a minute. I've had 5 bags. Yeah, I've had 5 bags of feed at one time in that closet. And he says, one thing I have found out so far is yes, it's made. Oops, did it again. It's made what, Andy? Andy says, I'm concerned about moisture if I made too much. Okay, it's made local, but not grown local. Well, you probably can't grow everything locally. And Steve, what you do is if you are making a bunch and you're concerned about moisture, put it in waterproof containers. You know, the buckets with the screw lids? But I would say Andy says his pellets in cow feed is just a filler that expands in the stomach to keep them from eating so much. Steve says, I have Tractor Supply with gamma lids and I find clumps in there. Although I know it went in dry. I'm not sold on those gamut lids. Well, what you do, Steve, is you get some of those oxygen absorbers and that'll keep it dry. Good morning, Dawn. Dawn says, good morning. I've been listening while coffee is brewing. Gonna get a cup. My rounds are done. That's good. And he said, good morning. Everybody's telling you good morning, Dawn. She says, I have 22 chicks in the brooder and 4 more in the incubator. Congratulations. That's 26 out of how many did you put in lockdown, Steve? Still says you can always use dry rice in a filler bag to absorb moisture. That's true, Stills. And Andy agrees. A sack of rice in it, Steve. She says half barrel, half something else, and 1 white. No, how many eggs did you put in your incubator? And you got 24, 26 rather. Andy says, I'm going to be setting eggs the 8th. My problem, if I set eggs in just a week's time, I'll only have 14 eggs. And I don't like incubating that small a number. Nikki says, my turkey eggs locked down the 8th. Oh, that's going to be fun, Nikki. Andy says, I'm going to my dad's, and when I get home, I'll put them in lockdown when I get home. Well, Andy, no, what's that? You that's going to your dad's, are you going to pick up your freeze dryer? C says, I don't want to say how terrible this hatchway. It'll discredit be as being experienced. I know what you mean. I'm taking some incubators apart and thoroughly cleaning them and putting them back together. Andy says, right on, Nikki. And still says, hello, Dawn. And Steve's smiling. And then he retracted his smile. Dawn says, Nikki James, good morning. And he says, if he is still going to give it to me, yes, I am. Yeah, pick that up. Dawn said, Stills, good morning. C says, Andy, take your very heavy winter coat to your dad's. You know it's very cold at the North Pole. Dawn says, oh, Verna, your hair looks so good. Thank you. Thank you, Andy. I got tired of it and just cut it off. Did it right in my bathroom. She says, I don't know why when I type something and end with a smiley face, it only does the smiley face. That's because you didn't put this space between the two. And he says, normally it is Steve, but they are having a heat wave right now. It was almost 80 this last week. Ugh. Well, right now it is 40 degrees outside, according to my computer. Echo, what is the temperature outside?
Right now, it's 38 degrees Fahrenheit. Today, expect a high of 55 degrees.
It's supposed to get up to 55 today. But when that storm was going through, I could see that west of us, they were getting hit with freezing rain and snow. Glenn says, hatched 29 chickens, gave 12 to old couple with limited income, and sold 17 to brother for $250 each to start his flock. Then my incubator died, and I had to order a new temperature control yesterday. Oh boy! And you selling them for $250 each to your brother was a steal. You might as well say you gave them to him, because most people are selling hens for $10 on up. Steve says 54 Missouri right now, heading to 66. I mean, in Mississippi. And why did I say Missouri? In Mississippi right now, heading to 66. And he says, I will be driving through Searcy, Arkansas. Ha ha ha. Steve says Searcy would be on the way to me, not the North Pole. Ha ha. Nikki says, well, looks like I will be chasing chickens. Rotten turds are in the back fenced yard, the dog yard. She ignores them if she is in their area, but nothing is allowed in hers. Oh boy, Nikki, you got your hands full. John says we got rain, ice, and snow yesterday too. It's going to be 55 today. Oh boy. Andy says, yeah, Steve, not far from you. Glenn says he wanted to pay, so I said 250. Okay, Glenn. So you wanted to give them to him, but he wanted to pay something for because of pride. So yeah, that's a good deal. Still says 43 here in West Virginia. Lots of 60-mile-per-hour winds last night. Ugh. Yeah, that wind was really harsh yesterday. Well, Aaron's kids must have a game today because Hammer and Christina are not here. She says we had those very high winds yesterday and we sent it east. Well, we had it yesterday too, Steve. All day yesterday and most of the night until about 1 o'clock this morning. No, till about midnight. Still says shame on you, Steve. Well, it's getting up to 55 today. I'll be happy with that. I'll be happier later this week when it gets. I think Monday it's supposed to be close to 70. Annie says her phone says it's 60 degrees 3 minutes ago. That might be the high for today. I need to step outside. LOL. Now, before next live stream, I have to process those koi. Nikki says, Verna, did you have tornado warnings too? I know my mom's power went out and they were under tornado warning. She is close to Chillicothe. No, we didn't get any tornado warnings. I think we might have had a watch. But we had a chance for them. But our sirens never went off and I never got any notifications. Steve says, I love the old-fashioned way to check the temperatures. Go outside. Yep. And look out your window for the weather. It's cloudy, but the sun's trying to shine. Still says, one day soon I will be changing my YouTube name to promote my quail business. Since I had to get a business license, I named it Papa's Homestead. That's good. I mean, Pappy's Homestead. That's good, Stills. John says, wow, 60 tomorrow and 70 Monday. That is so warm. And he says, it's not cold out there. Very nice. Glenn said it was so windy here yesterday that I watched one hen lay the same egg 3 times. Everybody got a kick out of that one, Glenn. We love your humor. Let me see what our forecast is gonna be. See, we're still under the warning. And this says it's 37 outside is what it feels like, but it's 42 degrees. Today's supposed to be 55, Sunday 58, Monday 71, Tuesday 47, and Wednesday 49. So now you guys see why I'm all congested. All this weather change is playing heck on me. The door that leads up, that to my stairway that leads up to my apartment, that bottom landing, I had water in the bottom landing yesterday because that wind just blew it in. Still says Mother Nature is not in a good mood this year so far. Well, Stills, look what we've done to Mother Nature. Jasmine Bass is here. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, Jasmine. Hey, you know what? We got 12 likes. We only need 8 more to get my 20. C says, I had to sort my quail this weekend, get my numbers right. And then he tells Jasmine, good morning. And everybody's telling Jasmine, good morning. And he says, that was a highlight of temperatures for today. It's 47 degrees, feels like 44. C says he has a question for Jasmine. Did you take your aviary video down? And everybody else still saying, good morning, Jasmine. He's wanting to know if you took the tour of the aviary down, Jasmine. Still no goat babies, LOL. She is 2 days past due for her original due date. Oh, no. How's her ligaments, Jasmine? Steve, what kind of quail do you have? Glenn says Mother Nature has been throwing out temperatures like lottery numbers around here. Same here, Glenn. I think we should play the lotto with the week's forecast of lottery numbers. Yeah, it says, LOL, Glenn, that's funny and true. Still says, and no one ever wins. Well, you know what, Stills, I have to disagree with that. Even though the temperatures are all over the place, we're still winning because we're still alive. We still have our animals. Oh, I don't like that. Look, that hair looks like it's too long. I'm going to have to cut that piece. Must have been tucked behind my ear when I cut them. Jasmine says, Steve, it never got posted because the craziness I've had through all winter. And there's Bruno. Bruno says, hello. Good morning, Bruno. Still says, as long as I am looking at the grass from the green side, I am doing good, I guess. And Nikki is telling Bruno hello. Everybody's telling Bruno hello now. While we're at it, I'm going to cut that. I don't have my hair scissors with me, but I got to cut that long piece off. I hate when I miss one. There we go. Now I feel better. Yeah, we're up to 16 likes now. Jasmine says she got her thumbs in peace. Sil says just dye it a cute color and go on with it. I don't dye my hair. Nature gave me good enough hair. That's why I don't have a lot of grays, because I don't dye my hair. Andy says, I want an Egyptian rooster. Andy wants to make some sex links. Dawn says, I do too. Jasmine says, Andy, I can get you an Egyptian roo. I need more eggs. Sil says, I don't have grays, but I got a lot of natural highlights. I have some silver in my hair, but it's just hard to see it. Anyhow, when I spend a lot of time out in the sun, my hair color changes. So this is just the winter darkness. Oh, Andy, I'm also thinking about making some kind of tractors for the guinea pigs and rent the guinea pigs out um, for cleanup duty on lawns, as long as they don't use chemicals. Don says next weekend is a time change already. Let me see. Spring begins on the 20th. I don't see where time changes. Echo, what day is our time change?
From musictoday.com, this year's time change happens on Sunday, November 7th at 2 a.m., shifting back to 1 a.m.
When does it go back? When do we spring ahead? Echo, when do we spring ahead?
From K96FM.com. The second Sunday in March is always the time we spring ahead our clocks that were set
Yeah, that's the
behind last fall.
12th. A week from tomorrow. Jasmine says, I have silver in my hair too, and I get sun highlights. Yep, the sun highlights are fun. And today you can see the red tint in my hair. C says, I was given some mixed colored hatching eggs. I should never have done that. Andy says, I know, Dawn, but I would be driving near Steve next week on my way to my dad's. LOL. Still says, okay, back to quail. I have all jumbo browns. What would be another quail that would be good to go along with them? I am mainly breeding for eggs and meat. Well, if you wanted to breed for eggs, I would say pansy fees. Those are fun. If you want it for meat and eggs, I would suggest either Egyptians or jumbo whites. Andy says, I don't like mixed or hatchery's choice anymore either, Steve. Steve says, March 12th is the time change for spring forward. John says, Sunday the 12th. Steve says, should have just asked us and not Echo. Well, I like asking Echo because I like hearing her. Andy says, oh, Dawn, I don't have any fighting in the cage. John says, Andy, that is fantastic. You just get new birds and stick them in and everything goes good. Yes, Don. Don, the trick on that is stick them in at dusk or dark, or in the dark. And there won't be no fighting. Jasmine says, Verna, Willow is as big as a house. I can feel at least 2 kids in her belly, maybe a third. Her ligaments are squishy but not gone. Utter spilling up. She is pressing into me and affectionate. LOL. Oh, I think she's going to have her babies. If they're mushy, that means they're about gone. And if her udder, wait until her udder bursts out. All of a sudden, it just jumbo big. That means she's gonna have her babies any minute. And he says, "Don't let anyone give your quail the talk of life." Yes, it was later evening. Jasmine says, "I hope today, maybe tomorrow." Have you been taking pictures of her udder and comparing them, Jasmine? Because you'll really notice the difference when it pops. And he says, "Don't forget your phone has a camera, Jasmine." Glenn says, "I was given mixed eggs and use them for practice. Now that I got this quail stuff up and going, I'm putting together new breeder sets and the rest will be in freezer tonight." That's how you do it, Glenn. Oh, I know, Lucy. You got a runny nose, don't you? You feeling this weather change too, huh? Jasmine says, "I have another 120 quail eggs going into the refrigerator. And I bought some pilgrim goose hatching eggs going into the incubator today too." Oh, what kind of geese are you gonna hatch? And he says, "That's good use of them, Glenn." Steve says, "I put all the new ones in at dark in the sand bath. The older ones go in to just lay eggs, and the new ones bathing. They are all distracted." Jasmine says, "Smart, Glenn." Ah, there's Freezer. Yusuf says, "Hello, Verna and everybody in the chat. How you doing, Yusuf?" Everybody saying hi to Yusuf. Yusuf, before this, I had talked about what you can do for mixing your own chicken feed. And Yusuf said he's doing good and saying hi to everybody. And he says, "I need an Egyptian rooster, LOL." Jasmine says, "They are rare heritage breeds of geese. They are an auto sex breed, friendly lawnmowers." Did you see about the curly feathered geese, Jasmine, that they had at Hidden Heights Farm? I think it's Hidden. Yeah, it's Hidden Heights Farm. Sees away from the keyboard. Geese. Yes, Sebastian to Polly geese. Yeah. Did you ever think of getting them just for the uniqueness of them? Jasmine says, "Yes, they are beautiful." Andy says, "Have you ever owned geese before, Jasmine?" As you guys can see, who's up to visiting. She says she put up with an hour of me talking to the computer and ignoring her, and that was long enough. Jasmine says, my mud is red here. They would never look pretty here. Nikki says, Andy, I had a friend trying to give me some Egyptians a while back. Wish I'd known you were looking. Jasmine says, hi, Lucy. Yusa says, I wanted some to protect my chickens because they are pretty and calm, quiet compared to other geese, but they are expensive. $240 per female day old. Wow. You said that is a lot. Well, you're in a high priced area anyhow. And he says, oh, Nikki, rub that in, haha. Okay, that's enough, Lucy. Lucy says, unless I buy unsex, which is $100 a piece. I wouldn't do that, Yusuf, to buy unsex, because really what they'll do is they'll give you all the extra males for $100 a piece. At least that's been my experience. Jasmine says, yes, Andy, I adore my geese. Darby is the best brooder, a Tolaus goose. I had Africans, and they are loud and mean. Never again with that breed. Dawn says, I'm on day 7 incubating 2 kinds and hope to find out if one of my roos are Egyptian. Andy says, I will make an Egyptian, but I'm sure I'll get all hens. Yusuf says, Jasmine, I hear that Tulu's geese are also quiet. Is that true? And he says, seriously, I've had Egyptian roos you can have, LOL. Peter says, because I don't want my neighbors to complain. Well, yeah, with geese, you're going to get loudness no matter what, in my opinion. And he says, I might say I'm more afraid of geese than I am of dogs, LOL. I can see that, Andy. And swans. Two-louse are relatively quiet. The ganders are the louder ones. And he says, I can swing through your way, Jasmine. Yeah, because Jasmine's in Missouri, if I'm not mistaken. And with you going to Arkansas, yeah, you can go through Jersey. I mean, Missouri, rather. What am I thinking Jersey for? And he says, I've been attacked by geese when I was a kid. The geese were taller than me. Jasmine says, let me know if you are coming through Springfield or Branson, and I can meet up with you. Freezer asks, gander equals male? Yes. Yusuf, gander are males. Jasmine says, LOL, yes, geese can be awful. My females, though, are sweet and love to be petted. Well, the curly ones aren't that way. They're lousy as can be. The ones with the curly feathers. Glenn says, I was permanently scarred emotionally by a goose when I was about 3 years old. I still hate those darn things. One attacked you, Glenn, when you were 3? Jasmine says, yes, Yusuf. Gander is male, goose is female. Andy says, I can make that happen, if not when I go after the 20th, Jasmine. Andy says, me too, Glenn. Jasmine says, sounds good, Andy. Just PM me later. She says, gander and goose, gaggle. Andy says, I sure will, thank you. Steve, did you get your NPIP yet? And do you know if Aaron got his yet? Because he was supposed to get it during this week. Giro's Urban Homestead. She says, no NPIP yet. I know Aaron was scheduled. I know he was scheduled through this week, start the 27th, 28th through the 3rd. Oh, the week of the 27th has passed. Yep. This is the last day of that week. She says, I'm thinking May, right after I start my sprouts. Ha 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 ha. Jasmine, procrastination is costing you. I mean, not Jasmine. I was reading Jasmine's thing. Steve, your procrastination is costing you a lot of money. Jasmine says, V, I actually got a goose bite from my African ganders, lol. It turned purple and knotted up. They grabbed my thigh through my jeans. I cussed that time. They tasted delicious after that. You bet your sweet buns, Jasmine. Animal bites me enough to hurt me, they're gone. And he says, Aaron should have had it happen then. Then she laughs about Jasmine. Glenn says, Dad told my grandparents to put the geese up because we was coming over to visit. They didn't, and I was attacked between the fence and door. Ooh, if I'd been your dad, I'd grab that geese by the neck and spun it around. Because I'm that protective over my kids. Jasmine says, OMG, Jasmine cussed. So that's telling you it hurt that bad, Steve. Nikki says, Steve, when I applied, it took them 6 months to get to me for testing. My flock is too small for me to do. Yusa said, I would be proud if my goose was aggressive because I would use it to put it on my property. No one would dare to trespass. Yeah, but the problem is, Yusuf, if your Geese are aggressive. They may even attack you, mostly if they're nesting. Glenn says Dad was there, and when he finished plucking, the only feathers the goose had was where he had hold of the neck, and it tasted good. Good, Glenn. Your dad was like I am. Jasmine says, yes, Yusuf, aggressive with others, but not towards you. And she said, that's what happened to me too, Glenn. My grandma told me to go next door for something. All I remember was I walked through the gate, and next I know I was on the ground and could only see white and pain. Teresa says, yes, that's what I saw on the YouTube. Geese was hugging this man, but then once another guy came near it, it attacked. She says, Yusuf, hatch one by itself with chickens and raise with your chicken so it doesn't know it's a goose. Jasmine says, I'm so glad I didn't miss this live. You're the very best people. I agree with you, Jasmine. This group is the best. But I need more coffee. Ah, there he goes. Issa says, yeah, but if I get a mail, it'll be expensive. No, I didn't mean to say expensive. There, Steve hands out the coffee. Issa says mail would be loud. Jasmine says, I am finally getting around to planting a garden. I feel so behind schedule. Starting my sweet potatoes for slips today, too. Let me show you. I had to take some slips off because they were dying, so I put them in another jar of water, and they're coming back. But let me show you what's left on my potato. See, Jasmine, that's my sweet potatoes. And as you can see, they all got roots on them, except for this one that's on my hand. These two don't, but these two do. And I need to add more water again. So I'm getting some hydroponic food to I'm going to put one of the sweet potatoes in a 5-gallon, no, probably make a tote for that one. Let me see that. But then I'm gonna put some other things in too. Andy says, "My chicken was raised in the quail cage. She don't know she's a chicken. I don't think. A pet she is." Jasmine says, "V is the sweet potato queen." Jasmine says, "Looking good." Freezer said, "Wow." Steele says, I have no idea how anyone could eat sweet potatoes. I can't handle the smell, let alone the taste. And I have tried them several different ways." Well, Stills, your loss is my gain. Nikki says, "Wow." Yusuf says, "Impressive growing sweet potatoes indoors." Yeah, but I'm going to do it hydroponically, Yusuf. I'm going to have them hydroponically, and then I'm going to have one plant hydroponically and one plant in a pot outside. Andy says, "Can quail eat the sweet potato vines?" Yes, Andy, because they're related to morning glory, not nightshade. Steve says, "I love sweet potatoes. That's why we're cousins, Steve." Yusuf says, "They probably can, Andy Rabbit, but I'm guessing they won't eat it. They are super picky." No, you're wrong there, Yusuf. They love it. Jasmine says, "My animals love the leaves, steals it, and squeals. High protein." Diane Shadow says, "Hello, all. Good morning, Diane." Jasmine says, "Yes, Andy, mine annihilate the vines." Yusuf says, "Oh, they like it? They love it. They love sweet potatoes, too." Jasmine says, "Hi, Diane." And yes, Yusuf. Andy says, "Steals and squeals, you have to burn them, not just once, but twice. Haha. My Christmas dinner, the best I ever made. LOL. Bruno says, "Well, I haven't ordered 8 California white leghorn babies. Also ordered 25 Wyandotte chicken eggs to hatch out. All local." She says, "Bruno, you didn't find your browns?" Jasmine says, "Awesome, Bruno. I have 21 Delaware chicken chicks brooding in my living room." Well, I can't have chickens. They're too big and too messy. Jasmine says, "Awesome, Bruno. I have 21 Delaware chickens." Yeah, I read that. Bruno says, "Yes, but they will not hatch pure." Jasmine says, "They are messy, V. LOL. Yeah, I know. I've had chickens before. When I lived up in Oregon, Ohio, I had 3 hens, no roosters. One of the hens was an escape artist. She got out of an 8-foot fence. And third time she escaped, and the boy brought her back. I told him, "You can have her." And he was so happy. Bruno says, "Yes, but they will not hatch pure." And Jasmine agreed that they are messy, LOL. Freezers, Yusuf says, "Oh, wow, I have another khaki Campbell hatch." Bruno says, "Oh my God. Why are you saying that, Bruno?" Jasmine says, "What else are you growing hydroponically, V, after you catch your breath?" I'm going to grow some mung beans so I can have some fresh beans. I'm growing the sweet potato, and I plan to grow something else. I just haven't decided for sure. Hydroponically. I might try to grow radishes hydroponically too. Andy says, I have 16 quail still in the brooder in the bathroom. They said snow this weekend, so I'm going to move them next week. I have turned the heat for them. And she winked at that. I don't know what you mean about that. How old are they in the brooder? If they're 3 weeks old, you can shut the heat off if they're in the bathroom. Freezer says the day old is so cute, they think I'm their mama. I know, Bruno, I do cough bad. When I cough hard until it's productive. Andy says that's cute, Yusuf. Jasmine says I thought some morning seeds to start for fodder plants. And I got 5 dwarf mulberry trees the other day that I have to wait to plant outside. Yeah, because mulberries come in the spring. So soon you want to get those planted by about the 20th. Nikki says little baby ducks are so sweet. Andy says heat off the babies. Heat off on the babies, yeah. Yusuf says the ones I got in the hatchery are still a little smaller and skittish, but the ones I hatched are super friendly. Jasmine says, so cute, Yusuf. I love those sweet ducklings and how they follow around. What, baby? Your time to go out is not for another half hour. C says they are following you so you can show them how to find food. You better get to training them right. Training them, haha. No, see, they know he is the food. He brings the food. And he says, dwarf mulberry trees? I have never heard of dwarf. I'm going to have to look into that. Dawn says, I get my baby quail to house temperatures at 2.5 weeks. Then outside heated cage equal to house temperatures and then down to just above freezing. That's good, Dawn. Now if we can get somebody else to do that. Jen says, poor Lucy May, LOL. We are keeping her mama distracted from her. Yeah, she gets a little jealous. Yusuf says, I'm going to go get them the first foods they'll ever eat. And water. Okay, Yusuf, you do that, and we'll wait for you. Steve says, that's what I do as well, Dawn. And he says, they'll be 4 weeks on the 7th. Well, that's Tuesday, Dawn. They should have no heat whatsoever at 4 weeks. Dawn says, Steve, I like getting them house temperature as fast as I can. Jasmine says, Seabird, I remembered her appropriate middle name. Yes, you did, Jasmine. Lucy May. You remember a lot of things people say to you. That is so cool. Let me get her a treat. That was a cookie. I know why Jasmine remembered Lucy's full name. Because if it comes to animals, it sticks in Jasmine's mind. Because she's such an animal lover. And he says they are off heat in the house. Well, in the other place, they need off the heat. Yusuf says, Mama says hi, Verna. Hi, Mama. I hope you're having a blessed day. Jasmine laughs. She goes, it is true. Yeah, because with Jasmine, if it's children and animals, she never forgets. See, Jasmine, I have a hard time with names. I remember faces and other insignificant things, but names can, I don't like labels, so that's why names, I have a hard times with names. Bruno says, need one more like, aw. Well, I show 18, so we need 2 more likes. Andy says, I'm bad with names too. Well, Andy, that could be because you're like me, you don't like the labels. Excuse me. I burped. You ate the cookie and I'm the one that burps. That's from the coffee. Now go lay down for another half hour, okay? Yeah. You be a sweet girl. Jasmine says, my puppies are doing really good. Only a little naughty, LOL. Dakari is 12 weeks old and loves the goats. Koa loves the poultry, so I think we will be covered for protection for the homestead animals. C says he's lucky if he remembers his name, his own name. Everybody's getting a kick out of that one, Steve. And I'm getting all congested again. I can feel it. You know, there is, I found out this week, there is a difference between astrological seasons and meteorological seasons. Jenny says she's got to run to check Willow real quick. Putting you on my pocket. Okay, Jasmine, let me know how Willow's doing. Because I got a feeling she may be going in labor. But anyhow, it's like, good luck, Jasmine, Andy says. You know, if she's in labor, it's okay to shut me off and film it, Jasmine. Because you filming her birthing is more important than listening to us BS. But anyhow, astrologically, spring is March 20th this year. Whereas meteorologists say December, January, and February is winter. March, April, May is spring. June, July, and August is summer. September, October, November is fall. And Andy agrees with me. Yes, yes. Willow's a must. Now, how many people have sprouts going for their birds now? I got my tower going full of sprouts. My alfalfa is going crazy. She says closer, but not quite labor. I think it will be today, though. I agree, Jasmine. Steve looks at the sky and whistles. All right, what'd you do, Steve? Besides procrastinate. Dawn says, I have lentil sprouts and microgreens of alfalfa and broccoli. That's great, Dawn. Mine are mostly alfalfa that I have is sprouting. Andy says, my granddaughter asked me the other day what season is first. Winter is the last and first season of the year. But most of us say spring is the first season and winter is the last season. Yusha says, OMG, they are so cute. I am walking and they are running as fast as they could to follow me. Andy says her alfalfa sprouts are ready to eat. My microgreen sprouts, I've been feeding to the birds. Steve says spring is first. You can't have life without spring. That's right. Winter is really the last. And, they used to have in the old calendar, that was right, January and February were at the end of the year. And the March 1st was the beginning of the year. And that's the way it should really be, in my opinion. Dawn says, Andy, I'm eating alfalfa microgreens all this week. And more are almost ready. Tomorrow I'll take them out of the blackout. Andy says, that's what I told her too. Winter finishes and starts the year, but spring brings all to life. Yep. And he says, that's awesome, Dawn. I always figured I was born in May, which is spring. I'll die in the winter. Whether it's December, January, February, I don't care. I just know it's going to be in the winter. Nikki says, I have alfalfa, radish, broccoli, and clover sprouts going. I'm going to change from paper towels on sprouting because the paper towels that feed the tray, they break before I'm done with them. So I'm going to go to an old t-shirt as a feeder. Dawn says, Nikki, that's great. Andy says, my granddaughter is 6 years old. It's fun to explain it to them that young. Andy, I used to do that too with my kids when they were young. I had fun talking to him. I don't have any grandkids that I know of. Because my oldest daughter's kids were taken in. Now they're adults, so I haven't seen them since they were babies, so. Steve says, I'm going to use shop towels in the tower when I get to the tower. Steve, if you use the tower, you don't put anything in it. The tower does it all. Ed says, good morning, all. Was 70 degrees overnight here, LOL. I'm still tired. Good morning, Ed. Nikki says, hi, Ed. Andy says, I'm about to start some different sprouts, the spicy mix next. Yes, Andy. I think I want to grow those out fully. Dawn says, Steve, oh, thank you for reminding me. I had to find more blue shop towels for the brooders. I only have one row and they are small. Dawn, you can get the rubber shelf liner for your brooder. And you just have to rinse that off. And he says, oh, I'm sorry, Verna. I feel that pain too. Yeah, I'm going to cut up an old t-shirt. Still says, hate to run, but lots of things to do. Catch you guys next time. Have a blessed day, Stills. Dawn says, hi, Ed. Everybody's saying good morning, except for Stills, who's saying goodbye. Ed says, guess I need to start planting my tomato seeds very soon. Ed, you should have started that February 2nd. She says, I like the shop towels in the brooder as well. Row and dispose. The shelf liner in my incubator. Well, you put the shop towels underneath the shelf liner. The shelf liner is to give them extra grip. And I use the shelf liner in my incubator as well. Doll says, Steve, me too. And he says, I think I'm going to move the babies out today. We didn't get any of the snow, thank goodness. Yeah, we just got the rain. Something just fell, but I don't know what. Stranger things. Dawn says, I ordered a case from eBay and the seller tried ripping me off, but I got them in the end after he sent them to a fake address. I won't do that again. And he says, I have to clean the brooder again. She says, I got some liner from the dollar store. It's more holey and thinner, though. It worked just fine. Bruno says, we got 6 inches of the wet stuff over here. Wow. I don't know how much we got, but I'm sure we got at least that much too, Bruno. Dawn says, Steve, we get our liner from the dollar store too. Yeah, I got mine from the Dollar Tree. I mean, Dollar General, not the Dollar Tree. Let me see if I can find part row. If I can remember where I saw it at. No, I don't remember where I got it. Next time I see things, I'm going to have to pull them out and put them someplace. Andy says that's where I get it too. She says, I'll have to check Dollar General for the good stuff. Our Walmart hardly carries it anymore. You know, you can get it cheap also on Amazon. Dawn says, well, Amazon has 38% off on a 12-pack of Shop Scott's. I'll have to grab that. Let me see. Have to look on what I ordered before. See if it shows it here. Hmm. Oh, let me see if I can find it here. Let me see if I get this one to post. This is the best one, I think. Well, nope, I'm gonna have to shorten that. Oh, I can't find it. Steve, I can't find that place. So I'm gonna send it to you on Facebook so that you can do it for me. Ah, okay, that's right. Let me get rid of this. I forgot about that. Thank you, Andy. Uh, No, wrong. That's not what I wanted. It's not doing it, Andy. It's not doing it for me. Okay. Jasmine says she is so close to labor, Andy. Ed says I have rabbits running around my yard, but so far I can't get them to poop in the container. I will be putting the tomatoes in. And Andy's laughing at Ed. I sent it to you, Steve. Okay, let me try to. There we go. Let's see if this works, you guys. Yeah, I seen it, Yusuf. Those are they potted tomatoes or are they cherry tomatoes? Yusuf, are those potted tomatoes or are they cherry tomatoes? Yeah, those are little cherry tomatoes. Uh, no, thank you. The freezer. I'm going for the potted tomatoes, which are determinate, and they come up like a bush. But with Ed talking about he couldn't get him to breed a spot, I'm doing my guinea pig a certain way. And last night, when he cleaned out 2 cages, I'll show you guys what I got. This is off of 2 guinea pig cages. That much full. And just a minute, you guys, I'm gonna let Lucy out so she can go potty. Okay, Lucy. Probably should be taking the stairs right now. It's freaking busy. Come on. Okay, dokie. Okay, I'm back. See, says Ed has cute bunnies. Ed says they will be on my porch and they don't go up there. That's a lot of jelly beans, Verna. Yeah, and that goes into where I'm going to put a sweet potato plant. Yeah, those are. Andy says are good fertilizer. And Jasmine says, wow, that's awesome, Verna. Are you going to make a compost tea with them? No, I'm going to put that straight into my big planter that Eric destroyed, and he's in jail for. That I had my garlic in. So I'm going to put the sweet potato plant in that. And the next week, I may be making some fertilizer tea. I'm going to put some around the fig tree as well. And he says, good fertilizer, black jelly beans. That is good, Ed. Keep them away. Then Ed says, pass them out at Halloween. Well, Ed, I like black licorice jelly beans, but I sure ain't gonna try those black jelly beans. John says, Philly Tootsie Roll wrapper with them. Jasmine says, oh, cool. Perfect use for those pellets. You guys are getting sick with Ed. But I know a lot of people don't like black licorice, but I do. No, what you do, Don, is you make some brownies and put it in there and then give them to a neighbor you don't like. Jasmine's laughing, LOL. Early ideas for April Fools, huh? Ed's laughing. And so is Andy. Steve says, can you freeze dry those jelly beans? I will not put those jelly beans in my freeze dryer. No. That is for food, not for poop. But I did freeze a whole bunch of. I'm going to show you one of the bags of what I did. You guys see that? That's freeze dried homemade ice cream. It's banana. Some of them are bananas, and some of them are coconut. Yes, Steve, I can put black jelly beans in the freeze dryer. Real jelly beans. Steve, real jelly beans don't freeze dry. They do if you crack them. Genesis, I need to spread my rabbit manure over the garden beds this weekend. My perennials love them. I'm adding more blueberry plants and blackberry plants to the mix this year too. Yeah, Jasmine, the koi poo is just like rabbit poo. They eat about the same things. Timothy hay, fruits and vegetables. Um, they're eating up acorn squash I gave them yesterday. But I have 7 or 8, no, I'll have 9 kui to process, and I've gotta get it done this week no matter what. Andy says she found someone wanting the Champagne d'Argent rabbits. They have the Havana buck I'm getting. Cool. Jasmine says, "I hope we get a good pumpkin harvest this year. The Homestead gang loves them in the fall." Yeah, well, this is acorn squash that I cut up for them, and I put a quarter in every cage. What colors are your Havanas, Andy? Jasmine says, oh, okay, I read that about the pumpkin. And she says, "Oh, very cool, Andy." And Dawn says, "That's great, Andy." And what color is the buck that you're gonna get? And what color are your does, Andy? Andy said, "Champagne d'Argents are so pretty. I just need to downsize them breeds I have." And Chris is not having very good luck with his Champagne d'Argents on breeding. They won't live for the buck. Let me see what. Jasmine says, "Chris has silver fox." No, I thought he has Champagne d'Argents. And he says, "I have black, blue, chocolate, and broken in the colors too. The new buck is a broken black." Well, when you pick out for me, I don't care what colors they are because I like to play around with them with colors. Yusha says, "I want to grow one of those show-sized pumpkins, the giant pumpkins that weigh 1,000 pounds." Are you watching that other kid that's about your age, Yusuf, that grows the giant ones? Andy says, "Yes, Chris has silver fox." Okay, I thought he had cream d'Argents. He got 3 of them from me. And the one that won a couple years ago, he went to shows with his, and I think he dropped some off at Arms Family Homestead. Way back when, but I forgot. And he says, "I feel bad. He is having trouble getting them to breed." If I had that kind of problem that he's having, Andy, you know what I would do? I would get an animal playpen, and put all of them in together. Yeah, Jack, that's his name. Yeah, you're right, Freezer. I would put them together because, yeah, that'd get them all going. Neutral territory and see what happens. Grew giant watermelons and pumpkins. Yeah, it's the pumpkins mostly that I know. He had one that was close to a ton. And he gave some to oh, I can't remember Arm's family son's name. You can tell I haven't watched him in over a year. Houston, yeah, that's right, Steve. Houston. I could not think of it. Houston says, I want to grow watermelon so bad. I love watermelon. I eat them instead of drinking water in the summer. You know, freezer, you can slice up watermelon in the summer and freeze it so that in the spring when it starts getting hot, you can blend it into your drink. And another thing that's fun to drink is add some cucumber to it. It makes it extra refreshing. Just blend and strain if you don't want to chomp on it. Just blend it and strain it through a sieve. John says, I have frozen watermelon in the freezer now. Yup, it's good. Well, y'all, it's past time for me to shut down. Yusuf says, but the thing is, I need like a whole garden bed just for 2 watermelons. Not if you grow them vertically, Yusuf. C says, I have a drinking game. Every time Verna says freeze or freeze dryer, take a shot. You'll never survive alive sober. Dawn says she sees 20 likes, but I only see 12. I mean 19. Yeah. I got 12 people in here right now. I guess I'm not going quite yet, Yusuf. We're still too active here. And Lucy just came back, so that's good. That's what I was getting ready. And see, everybody's saying, yeah, they got 20 likes. You know, Steve, when I get up where I can do a guest, we should have a where you come in, see how drunk you can get in the morning. Freezer says, I'm still cuddling with my poor baby ducks. Aw. He's got a bunch of parakeets, the ducks, quail, everything. He's got chickens. He's quite the bird man nowadays. I'll be right back. I got to close all the doors so I don't have somebody walking in or a cat coming in. Okay, Lucy, I'll give you a treat. Let's see. Come here, Lucy. Okay. There we go. Let's see. Don says, y'all know of Yusuf's YouTube group. You mean his Facebook group, Steve? Hold on a second. Let me get that. Because everybody needs to join this. Poultry on a budget. There you guys go. You need to join that. That's for poultry on a budget. Glenn says, stay safe, everyone. Until next time. Thanks, Fee, for doing these lives. Thank you, Glenn, for coming. And I have a challenge. Why don't everybody try to get a friend to come next Saturday? C says, silly me, Facebook. Okay, that's Yusuf group right there that I posted, you guys. You all need to join it. And I'm going to say, since we slow down again, that it's time to say goodbye. You can't post it in the group, Yusuf, because only me and moderators can post a link in the group. That's why I posted it right above you said it. And C says, I had to find a friend first. Don says, I'll join it. Have a great day, everybody. Everybody have a blessed day, and hopefully see you tomorrow evening. Stay safe and be sweet. Nikki says, yeah, I know Brad is in the group. I will have to get there. Not on Facebook very much. Oh, he meant post your live in his group. That's great. Thank you. No, he's saying, I'm saying in the, okay. Okay, Yusuf, everybody have a blessed day. And Linda, I didn't see you. You have a blessed day too.